Joy. Joy is the delightful experience of the feelings of pleasure at a good gained and actually enjoyed, or the prospect of good which one has a reasonable hope of obtaining. There can be both natural joys and spiritual joys. Natural joys would be the joy of youth, before disappointment has stretched the soul, or the joy of health, when food is pleasant and sweet, or the joy of success when the battle has been won, or the joys of affection when the heart is loved. All these natural joys are intensified by spiritual joys and put upon a more enduring basis. No earthly happiness would be permanent or thorough if it were not associated with a good conscience. Spiritual joy is a serenity of temper in the midst of the changes of life, such as a mountain has when a storm breaks over it. To a man who has never rooted the soul in the divine, every trouble exaggerates itself. He cannot put his full powers to any one thing because he is troubled about many things. A joy is not the same as levity. Levity is an act, joy a habit. Mirth is like a meteor, cheerfulness like a star. Mirth is like crackling thorns, joy like a fire. Joy, being more permanent, makes difficult actions easier. Soldiers after a long day's march would hardly walk as nimbly as they do if they did not march to music. A cheerful heart always finds a yoke easy and a burden light. Certainly no nurse is helpful in a sick room unless she has the spirit of cheerfulness. Every nurse really ought to have two things before she enters a sick room: an incision and a sense of humor. An incision in order that she may know the value of pain. A sense of humor in order that she may know how to diffuse happiness. This incision need not be physical, but it should at least be symbolic, in the sense that there should be a deep appreciation of the woes and sufferings of others. There is nothing that so much adds to the longevity of sickness as a long face. Joy has much more to do with the affections than with reason. To the man with a family, his wife and children call out and sustain his delights much more than his intellect could ever stimulate. Standing before a cradle, a father seems face to face with the attributes of the everlasting being who has infused his tenderness and love into the babe. The power of rejoicing is always a fair test of a man's moral condition. No man can be happy on the outside who is already unhappy on the inside. If a sense of guilt weighs down the soul, no amount of pleasure on the outside can compensate for the loss of joy on the inside. As sorrow is attendant on sin, so joy is the companion of holiness. Joy can be felt in both prosperity and adversity. In prosperity, it consists not in the goods we enjoy, but in those we hope for, not in the pleasures we experience, but in the promise of those which we believe without our seeing. Riches may abound, but those for which we hope are the kind which moths do not eat, rust consume, nor thieves break through and steal. Even in adversity there can be joy in the assurance that the divine Master himself died through the cross as the condition of his resurrection. If joy be uncommon today, it is because there are timid souls who have not the courage to forget themselves and to make sacrifices for their neighbor, or else because the narrower sympathies make the brighter things of the world to come appear as vanities. As the pull from the belief in God and the salvation of the soul fade from life, so also joy vanishes and one returns to the despair of the heathens. The old Greeks and Romans always saw a shadow across their path and a skeleton at their feet. It was no surprise that one day a Roman who had nothing to live for, nothing to hope for, entered his bath and opened a vein, and so bled quietly and painlessly to death. A famous Greek poet once said of life that it was better not to be born, and the next best thing was to quit life as soon as possible. All this is at the other extreme from St. Paul, who said, "Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say, rejoice."